Y'all here preaching the word, yes sir. Oh, praise to the Most High. Bring forth the word. I bring from the scriptures, man. Order. All the people to repentance, man. Praise.
Same street I got set, they play my music on them corners. Heart been renewed, I pray his mercy stay upon us. We done found the truth, but we ain't going nowhere. We gon' see that cloud eyes up in the air. We gon' keep this orderly. Messiah said that I must still keep it on me. I got who's built for this. Yeah, we show love, we walk in peace, that's where that door is. Jerusalem adorned within and it's gorgeous. I was dealing with that little said to clean it out. That light gon' show you about yourself what that beam about. That Broadway want me back, but I seen it out. I'm praying for them, but I'm departing if they bring it out. Faith come out hearing of the word, they done lost theirs. Carry my cross just like a man, and my Lord says, put on that armor every day, we can't off this. That living water out of Christ like a faucet. I did them how they did me up at that funeral. Supposed to be walking like Messiah, supposed to let it go. You had your door, the only reason I ain't let it blow. I'm out of order, I'm confessing, I let him know. He's so anointed, I don't talk about this pain. Gotta clean it all up before Messiah reign. Is your life really representing our name? Is your life really representing our name? Come together, stop debating, we got enemies. If they don't believe what you believe, the pot, we still at peace. They called the vision, mock them, avoid them, and let it be. Matthew 25, you even go to you a sheep. Who really serving? The harvest your the Broadway is wide. His soul's on the line, really working. He coming in the sky. We at the end of time. Prayers get answered, I'm a daddy in the truth. Gotta have some patience, let them see the light in you. The kingdom up inside, observation, I'll get you. And we gon' bring it back to the borders in a few. Zion. When we ever gonna together be lions. He's gonna together keep commandments, keep triumph. He's gonna together keep commandments, keep triumph.
New Hezekiah, confess. Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. I am your humble servant and host for tonight. I am Kyle. In the building, I got my rib, my butter pecan, Miss Artist 28, my rib, my Esther. Let's see you in the building, art by Sharonda. And we are solo dolo today. You know, we don't have a youngin today. He's out by his pops for this weekend. So we pray that he's getting great bonding and doing what he needs to do and remembering the Most High on this Sabbath as we have taught him. All praises for that. And today, this is our Shabbat lesson, right? This is the day that we give rest. We started at sundown on Friday, and we're ending at sundown today. The title of our lesson is Greed, the reason for no rest. That frankincense and myrrh is going, baby. You know, the song that Hezekiah had just now, Confess, he spoke in the song about his, the transformation, being the fact that as he played a little clip in the beginning of the song, he's driving down the street and there's a guy that's preaching on the corner playing his music. So as he goes into the song, he expresses how he used to sell drugs on that very corner, that he used to do some of the most horrible things in his community on that corner. And for him to now have given his life unto the Most High and on those same corners, instead of his demonstrative ways of being, they are now playing his words of worship. I think that is a beautiful confession, to make. And in he's doing that, he's talking about a particular time when he was out there for that almighty dollar, for that money, for that feeling like you are a man in this world. All that he did, he almost shot up someone's funeral to get to a particular person. That's not a story that we haven't heard before in our community. That's not something we haven't seen on the news. It's not something that's new. But what is different about it in this song is how it has changed, where he did not do that and gave himself unto the Most High. And now he is enriching those same corners. I see Diana's in the building. I see Brother Juan's in the building. I see my cousin Michael's in the building. I see Jamal's in the building. All praises. We got a couple on YouTube as well. All praises. So greed, the reason for no rest. What's the biggest reason why most people cannot do Sabbath? The reason that most people do not follow the Shabbat is because they're in the quest for money. They're in a quest to be able to sustain themselves in this world. It's not always greed. Sometimes it's an absolute have to, because of the oppression and the captivity that we're in. It's something that we must pray hard about. It's something that we must ask for guidance on if you still have to work on this Sabbath. If your life has not altered and changed to a manner to where you can follow the Sabbath. Hezekiah in his song, he went from selling drugs and being a menace to giving his life and singing songs and giving praise, to now that's affecting his block. When he was out there, he couldn't see himself on a Friday not selling drugs. I know I couldn't. I did it. I knew Friday night was my hot night. I knew Saturday night was my hot night. Saturday, it was what we call all-night flights. We would sell from Friday all the way up until Sunday morning, baby. All-night flight, same clothes. We couldn't get off the block because the money was just coming like that. Just so happens, this society, because it's demonic and devilish, it puts Friday and Saturday as its night to go out, as its night to do the debauchery. It's night to have fun. It's night to spend money. You get your paycheck on Friday, and you are, after all of your deliberation, pain, and anguish of going through the week, you want to absolutely blow out. When we're supposed to be at rest, or we're working so that we can continue to get the material things of this world. We must honor this commandment of the Most High to change and enrich our lives. This fourth commandment of the Sabbath is actually the thing that will start to change your life. And how you see things, how you operate, is through this Sabbath. To sacrifice what you think in the beginning, because your life is situated in this manner, it may be a major sacrifice in the beginning. But to understand how to do it and to do it through the Most High, to where He will make a way for you as you are making this sacrifice unto Him. Greed is the national pastime of this nation. Before we get into scripture, we're going to go to the etymology. I've had this up on my computer for like the last 4 weeks. I was supposed to use this in a prior lesson, but I wanted to go through the etymology and read the etymology of Sabbath to you guys. Screen share real quick so they can see it on YouTube. All right. So it's going to tell you, but this predates Jewish, to it being a fundamental worship that mankind did across the world until Catholicism came. So it says the Middle East, Shabbat, from Old English Sabbath, seventh day of the week in the Jewish calendar. Saturday is observed by the Jews. You see how they flip from Jewish to Jews. These are two different people. We must understand it is two different people. And it says, Jews as a day of rest from secular employment and a religious observance. They call it a religious because it's not a religion to be a Hebrew. It is a way of life. I see James in the building. Chawa. So it is not a religion. This is a way of life. Religion is centered around a church or a mosque or a center, and you go there and you worship on that day. For a Sabbath, the day of rest and observance of the Most High, there's no building that is needed. There's no edifice that's needed. This is observance from Old English Shabbat and directly from Latin Sabbatum, from Greek Sabbaton, from Hebrew Sabbath. Properly rest of day of rest. So they give you all these different terminologies for the different nations, and then they come to the originator, the Hebrew. The Hebrew and the Jew would be one and the same. The Jewish would not. So this is not anything against the Jewish community because they snatched the video off last week. So on IG. So we want to make sure that we're just making an educational difference between the groups of people. And this is Hebrew Sabbath property, day of rest. From Sabbath, he rested from labor. The spelling with TH is attested from late 14th century, but was not widespread until 16th century. So the TH, it was just T. It was Shabbat. The Babylonians regarded 7 days as unlucky, the 7th day as unlucky, and avoided certain activities on them. The Jewish, remember this is the third community, observance might have begun as similarly as a similar custom. So that's why you understand the difference between Jewish and Jew and Hebrew. In Jew and Hebrew, it was a day of rest. In Jewish, it became part of a superstition that the Babylonians shared as well, where they thought it to be unlucky and chose to not do certain things or activities on that day. So what does unlucky mean to them? That they will be punished by whatever celestial thing. That would be the Most High, but whatever celestial thing that they believed in. So it made it unlucky instead of a day of rest. I want you to understand the difference in what's being said here and how it has gone through the centuries and evolved. So the Sabbath, they said, Jewish observation may have begun as a similar custom. Among Europeans, Christians, the time of Sabbath shifted from the 7th day to the first Sunday as a Christian celebration of the Lord. First time we've come up with that word Lord. Lord was from the Moabites that were in the region, from the Yahweh Baal worship, which we didn't either. As a Hebrew and as a Jew, we did not worship Yahweh nor Lord or Baal. Many of our people did, as our people to this day are following other religions. So it's telling you very clearly that the Jewish people, after the Babylonians, what happened to us with the Babylonians? We were taken over in 589. So everything changed in our region in 589 BC when the Babylonians came in. So this etymology is giving you an historical evolution of the Sabbath, a day of rest, a day from employment to Now, after the Babylonians come, an unlucky day, a day that you refrain from doing certain things so you wouldn't have bad luck. And then they tell you, because now comes in the Europeans, because the Europeans are way later. That's after the Greeks, it's after the Romans. And as they tell you that the Europeans among them, the Christians at the time, Romans are the Christians. So not until AD, after 70 AD, when the Romans destroyed our temple and the Greeks were already following our Sabbath and twisted by the Babylonians, started to say it was a day unlucky to do any kind of this or do that, instead of it being the day of the Most High's rest, being a day that you do not work in observance of the Most High. It got changed by the 14th century. That's what it tells you. That means 1300s AD. It changed in 70 AD. In 1400 years, or 1330 years later, to the 14th century, 1300s, right, so forth, it became this. This day was an original of the Exodus chapter 19 that was given to Moses as a rest. So when they tell you that the Jewish people started to observe it, may have started to observe the custom later, they're talking about people thousands of years after Moses. So this was a practice that was done everywhere, and it wasn't changed until the Roman Catholic Empire colonized the world and changed it. Colonized the world. It says, be it a Christian celebration of the Lord's resurrection. See, then they go into the Lord's celebration. So now they tell you that it's the Lord's day, and then now it's the crucifixion of the Lord, not the Most High, but a resurrection of the Lord on the first day of the week, a Sunday. Though no definite law, either divine or ecclesiastical, directed the change. So no law in the scripture, they say no law, that means nothing in the Torah gave them the ability to do so. That's what that's saying. Do no definite law. The law is the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Do no definite law, do none of the Most High's laws. And it says either through divine or ecclesiastical. That means some spiritual thing happened, that the Most High came out the sky, like they said, came and got themselves killed. But nothing like that happened to come down for him and say he changed anything. But they did it anyway. And it says, Christian celebration of the Lord's resurrection on the first day of the week, Christian Sabbath, though no definite law, either divine or ecclesiastical, directed the change. But elaborate justifications have been made. In English, Sabbath as Sunday is evident as early as the 15th century. So the 1400s is when they started putting it in. So it's 2025, baby. So from the 1400s is when Sunday became that. The sense change, the sense change was completed among the English people generally during the Reformation. So the Reformation of Martin Luther. When Martin Luther decided to leave the Romans because the Romans were allowing people to pay to get themselves into heaven. That's right. Boy, them Romans ain't nothing nice, boy. They about that dollar. Can you understand why our society is about that dollar? Because the Romans and their Catholicism said that if you had enough money, it didn't matter the sins you did, long as you gave some money back to the Catholic Church, you could be as rotten as you wanted to be. Don't you understand that's why we got to do as thy wilt mentality in this world? Don't you understand that's why everybody say, well, I'll apologize later. I'll give a little money to charity later after it's all said and done. But I'm going to go ahead and appropriate this community. I'm going to go ahead and sell something that is not good for the people. I'm going to sell things that will kill them, but yet I make profit off of it. That's this Roman Catholic, Jewish, Babylonian society that we're in. And you think that these people are holy. That's why I tell you we're not a religion. There's no such thing. You're not
Under the Roman Catholic
empire. They want to call it a church, but it's empire. They decide all the things that happen globally. Why you think you see the Vatican and the Pope, if y'all not paying attention? He's going around and telling everybody, all y'all gods are the same God as my God. And that we the ruling class, so y'all can worship your God and still be under our Jesus. That's what he's going around doing right now. And the Cardinals are upset. That's his board of directors, right? The Cardinals. They're upset with the Pope right now because the Pope is allowing other religions to come in and be a part of votes inside of their body, inside their cardinal, they call it a conclave. That's where they have their judicial decisions on their laws of Christianity. And they're conclave, and now the Pope wants to let all these other people come in so that they can get more power, so they can, because Islam is coming on their neck. So they're even trying to partner with Islam. Oh yeah. Not Islam, but Muslims. That's not a real thing. So we're going to go ahead and finish this definition up. We're going to get into our scripts for the day. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. We have to understand that this greed is a Roman Catholic empire thing that we have been given. And that's during the Reformation of how you became a Baptist, a Methodist, Seventh-day Adventist came from the Reformation, from Martin Luther, who decided it was wrong for the Roman Empire to be able to let people buy themselves and their family into their heaven. He says the original use of the word is preserved in Spanish sabbato, Italian sabato, and other languages names for Saturday. So every other language had the word Sabbath in their language as the day, the Saturday, as the seventh day. Not Saturday, but the seventh day. It was Sabbato, not Saturn, and Saturday is for the Romans and the Greeks. Their god Saturn, their planet Saturn. Sabbato and Saturn is two different things. So the whole world knew it as Sabbato. It was the seventh day for all these other languages, all these other nations. We have let greed in our captivity make us forget these things, not understand the importance of this. So let's go to blow our shofar on this Sabbath, as customary, and we're going to stand to the east as we traditionally do, and we're going to pray into the heavens, because the east is not where Jerusalem or Mecca is. It is where the sun comes out, rises every day out of Shemayim, out of the heavens. And that window is open. We are going to pray into that window so that the Most High hears our prayer. So we as we are praying, as the shofar is blasting, we're going to pray that the words that I'm coming across with, the theme that I came up with, and the scriptures that the Most High has given us today are the answers to the questions that you've been praying about. Not what we came up with, not what this is, but somehow, some way, these are the words and the scriptures that you need in order to have your answers to your life answered. So all praise to the Most High. We're going to stand to the east and blow the shofar. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. All praises unto the Most High. So Getting to our first scripture today. We're going to pull up Ecclesiastes chapter 5. We're going to verse 9. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 9. And it reads, a lover of money never has his full of money. Wow. Ain't that so? I mean, we have people that will sacrifice all things for the dollar because they never seem to be able to get enough. When the Most High says here, a lover of money never has his fill of money, nor a lover of wealth his fill of income. To say that too is futile. It is impossible. He says, as his substance increase, so do those who consume it. It's like a cycle. That's why they tell you that 80% of Americans today, no matter how rich they may look to you, are check to check, week to week. See, how can that possibly be? How can somebody in $1 million mansion be week to week? Well, one, that person that's in that mansion may not have had, that may be generational. But yet they got to pay the taxes, and the taxes continue to increase. And their money is not working, meaning that their trust fund, meaning that the allowance that they get isn't matching up to the cost of living the lifestyle that they have. They all check to check, week to week, because in order for them to live that lifestyle, they have to budget themselves. 80% of today's Americans are living week to week. It says, as his substance increase, so do those who consume it. What then does the success of its owner amount to but feasting his eyes? Wow, that's deep. It says, what good is your riches really, but just you to look at it and appreciate you got it because you know you're paying way too much for it. You know that you are not sustaining, you are not saving, you are not holding the money that you need to in case of things that happen, because things are always happening. This society is now ushered in a digital realm, subscriptions, baby. Everything is a revolving subscription. It's for you to constantly be paying, constantly to be watching. And if you don't watch it, they'll put a whole new year in the contract on you, and you got money coming out constantly. What you say, baby?
The land. What about land?
What you mean about the land?
What you have to do, what you own the land.
Yeah, when you're on the land, even though you own the land, you are under a nation. So that government is charging you for the land that you own to be in a nation. It's a real thing. What do you think property tax is? It's so that you can pay for the government to continue. So it's a revolving door of how your money is coming in and going out. So for you to fixate your life on getting that money, to be at the top of that hamster wheel, to only have it being taken away more and more. Because if you got $1 million, you want to live in a better house. You want to live and you want a better car. You want all these things. Is hard. We always talk about in our community about the other communities and how they show wealth. How you can see someone in another community and have a car that's old but paid for, and they're pulling up into a big old house. Or you see them going to restaurants and eating and fine dining. But their clothes and their cars, the things that wear and fall apart easily, that depreciate, they don't put any wealth in it. They don't put any money into it. They allow it to be whatever. They don't care what people think about them. They're not in the rat race for the money to impress anyone. And again, as I stated earlier, they live off of trust funds. They live off of allowances as well. Because a lot of their money was made off the oppression of us when this United States was enacted, formulated. You know, and it says, verse 11, a worker's sleep is sweet, whether he has much or little to eat. You know, if you've had a full day's work, your body is tired. Regardless of how much money you have or how much food you've eaten, you're going to sleep well. That's because of the work. And it says, but the rich man's abundance doesn't let him sleep. What does that mean? That a rich man's abundance doesn't let him sleep. He's afraid of what was stated here. As much as he increased, so do those who consume it. So you're constantly watching who's trying to consume your money. Who then attach themselves as a leech to you quietly and you don't know. What's the biggest thing you hear about rich people suing? Their accountants. Their accountants stealing money, misappropriating funds, people that have powers of attorney. When you hear about artists that die and the money don't go to the families because they had an accountant that put themselves as power of attorney over their estate. Because see, when you amass so much, people find out and learn, and they come at you. So you have to protect your money. So you must create trust, and you must create estates. And when you create those trusts and you create those states, it goes off as a red bell to certain thieves, to certain scoundrels, shysters, and they come and run it. It's something you never, being poor, you don't know about it. All you get is the poor scams. You get the scams on your phone that want you to sign up for this, want you to sign up for that, because you ain't got big money. I'm trying to tell you that this society, no matter if you're poor, middle class, or rich, there's a scheme and a scam to get the money out you. So a man that's fully rich can't sleep. He hasn't had a good day's work. He's always worried about somebody taking his money. Verse 12, here is a grave evil I have observed under the sun. Riches hoarded by their owner to his misfortune, in that those riches are lost in some unlucky venture, and if he begets a son, he has nothing in hand. Another grave evil is this: he must have just as he came. As he came out of his mother's womb, so must he depart at last naked as he came. He can take nothing of his wealth to carry with him. Mm-hmm. Now that's our belief system, right? But in the Egyptians, the Hamitic community, they believed that they could take their riches. They believed that they could have a boat. That's why they made pyramids. They had certain epochs. They were buried with all of their gold. That's why they had so many tomb raiders, right? In the Valley of Kings in Africa, in Mizraim. They believed that if they went through these ceremonial things of the underworld, that they would make it and be able to bring those things that they made in this world to the next. But lo, here in Ecclesiastes, we are clear that nothing that we have here on this earth is coming with us there. Only our actions and our deeds. Oh, that's what follows you, your spirit. That's what follows you in the death. That's what follows you when your flesh dies. You and what your spirit did and what you involved your spirit into, because your spirit is going to continue on, right? They say energy doesn't end, right? Even the Hamites, the Egyptians believed that, right? They believed that the energy was going to continue. We believe the energy continues as well. And it takes your whoredom, it takes your evil, it takes your dark eye, it takes your mistrust, your anger, your all of the lustful things, all of the horrible things of you goes with you to testify. Not your money. It's what you did to get the money. That's what goes with you. What did you do? Did you forsake all your family? Did you forsake your holy day? Did you forsake your creator all for that? What else did you do in that process? Who else did you mess over? Who else in your effort to be number one did you step on? Whose did you pee on? That goes with you. So it says, as he came out his mother's womb, so must he depart at last, naked as he came. He can take nothing of wealth to carry with him. So what is the good of his toiling his toiling for the wind? Besides, all his days he eats in darkness, with much vexation and grief and anger. Verse 17. Only this I have found is a real good, that one should eat and drink and get pleasure with all the gains he makes under the sun during the numbered days of his life that the Most High has given him, for that is his portion. Sometimes you have to recognize that your portion may not be what your eyes want. That's maturity. That's becoming an adult. That's being a grown woman. That's being a man that understands I may not have the talent to get a home like Prime Time, like Deion Sanders. They have a country or a state such as that. But that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy the beautiful my front yard, with the squirrels running up and down it, with the trees and the shade and the sun, and my beautiful wife and my dogs. I can't enjoy that because I don't have 100 acres. I can't be at joy with a beautiful glass of wine because I don't have it given to me by a saucier. By a wine expert. I didn't go and buy it from some $100, $100,000 store where all the wine is $100 and up. Does that mean I can't enjoy it? That would be a decision I would make, right? That would be me saying, no, man, I want the wine out the little canteen. I want them to come and swish it around for me. I want to hire somebody to come and pour my wine for me. I want to do it like LeBron James. That's a decision I'm making, right? I can still make the same decision to enjoy myself pouring my own glass. I don't care if it's a cup. And then I can't enjoy my yard, then I can't enjoy the works of my hands. We really have to know what's good. Appreciate what's your portion. And once you appreciate that portion that you've been given, you may find out something strange that happens in this world. I don't want to shock y'all on this Sabbath. You know, we're supposed to be at rest. I don't want to get your heart pumping too much. But sometimes it has been said in Scripture that if the Most High can see that you can handle the portion that he's giving you, he'll give you more. Oh, watch out now. Don't get you too excited now. I don't get you too excited. He'll up your lot. He'll give you an increase because you appreciated what he's given you. You have learned to not have your eyes be bigger and that you can appreciate what you got, because if he gives you more and your eyes get bigger, then what it says here, some scheme you're going to try and do to get more money. You lost everything. Now you got a son, daughter there, you ain't got nothing to give. Most guys, I want to see, can you handle what I'm giving you? I know it's a concept, right? Not really. It's been proven out in life and time. And it says, you should eat and drink and get pleasure with all the gains he makes under the sun during the numbered days that the Most High has given him, for that is his portion. Verse 18. Also, whenever a man is given riches and property by the Most High, right, and is also permitted by him to enjoy them and to take his portion and get pleasure for his gains, that is a gift of the Most High. So when the Most High moves you up, after he sees you can handle each level that he brings you, that you don't lose him when you go to the next level. Ooh, get what I'm saying? That you don't lose him, that you don't start thinking that the levels that you've gotten to is the summation of you, that makes you. What makes you is the Most High and your love of him and his law and his commandments. That's what makes you. So when he sees that he lifts you up and you don't lose him and you keep him with you as you go up, he says you get to enjoy the prosperity and the property and the riches that he gives you. That's the system I'm on. That's the system our family is on. The humble one. As the Most High raises us, we are going to show appreciation at every level. We're going to make it seem like as if we're eating a flank steak, it is filet mignon, it's wagyu. If we're eating anything, it is the best of it because we appreciate the portion, our life. And we're not going to not do the Sabbath just to get a bigger portion. We're not going to not do the feast days just to get a little bit more. No. We're going to show him that we know that every level he got us on, he's maintaining us at that level. He's giving us a wherewithal to follow and stay in his glory. This is verse 19. But such a man and woman will not brood much over the days of his life, because the Most High keeps him busy enjoying himself. You won't be so much over your life and concerned about every moment and every second, because the Most High is going to let you enjoy it, because you have learned how to let the world go. You've learned how to let the stress of the world say, you got to get it. You've learned how to take rest, to understand that he's going to provide for you even when you take rest in him, that he wants you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. He does not want you to work 7 days. He does not want you to kill and slave yourself for 7 days and no rest till your body breaks down, till you get older, you can't even enjoy what you've made with your hands. No. That's not what he wants. That's why we're saying right here on this Sabbath, is to enjoy. This is leveling up in the most relaxing way you can. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 5, and it reads, just you do not know how the life breath passes into the limbs within the womb of a pregnant woman. Ooh. Man, when I read that, I was like, see, they had some serious writing. They was not playing around with their conversation back then. Like, their conversations wasn't silly. Like, if I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to get you to understand where I'm coming from. Like, you don't understand how a child that is inside of a womb of a woman can have lungs that can breathe. How it can have life breath. It's in a pack of fluid. He says, verse 5, just as you do not know how the life breath passes into the limbs within the womb of a pregnant woman, so you cannot foresee the actions of the Most High, who causes all things to happen. So when it tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 5 that you are to be happy with your portion, you ought to do the work of your hands and let the Most High elevate it. You don't know how he's going to elevate it. You don't know how the simple works of your hands is going to be elevated to the things that you want. That's the beautiful part. He's telling you not to brood over life. He's telling you, I'm going to get rest, man. Just handle the business that I got in front of you, baby. And then I'm going to escalate it. I'm going to water it. I'm going to do the steroids to it, partner. Enjoy the work of your hands. Enjoy the talents that you do coming to fruition. Enjoy what you do, and I'm going to make that turn into that prosperity. If you stay with me. He says, if you don't know how the life breath gets into the child of a pregnant woman's belly, you don't know how he's going to move you. You don't know how he's going to elevate you. But if you're sitting there worrying about it all the time, you ain't going to see it. It's like waiting for the clock to turn 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock when you get off work or when you get out of school. It seems like forever. That's what he's asking you not to do. He's not to do that. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 11. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 28. Proverbs 11, verse 28. It says, the road of righteousness leads to life. By way of its path, there is no death. So, as we talked about this going to death, right? This, your energy not dying, right? And it's telling you in Proverbs that the path to no death, meaning that when your spirit leaves this flesh and you have done righteousness in this flesh, that your spirit continues on to a place where righteousness is glorified, where you are glorified, where your energy is accepted into like other energies. It becomes, dare I say it, part of your body of righteousness. You go back to the originator, the source of righteousness. You continue to have life. Let's go to Proverbs 13. I don't know how that worked out that way, but I had 12. That's strange. I had this verse, but I didn't write it down, but I read it anyway. That was actually what I just read was Proverbs chapter 12, verse 28, not Proverbs 11, 28. But 11:28 still coincides with what the scripture in our lesson for the day. And it says, he who trusts in his wealth shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish like foliage. So whether you're reading Proverbs 11:28 or Proverbs 12:28, it is the same theme, that righteousness flourishes even past death in 12, but in 11, it's like the growth of foliage of green grass, right? As the wealth who trust in their money and working for their money and never stop working, their wealth shall fall. Now let's go to Proverbs 13, verse 11. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11. Wealth may dwindle to less than nothing, but he who gathers little by little increases it. Again, our scripture is the opposite of what the world offers us. The world says you got to get rich quick. The world says everybody got to get a get rich quick scheme. Everybody got, if you ain't making $1 million, you ain't making 1,000. There's no such thing as being satisfied, because the world is about materialistic. Here again in verse 11, it says, wealth may dwindle to less than nothing, but he who gathers little by little increases. They say the slow but show is the path of the Most High. If you don't understand that's how the Most High works, then you may actually go against him, not knowing it. I mean, just honestly, just busting your butt, think that's what you're supposed to be doing. But if you don't understand that the Most High does, he requires you to rest. He requires you to take a breath. He requires you to meditate upon his word. He requires you to take time to do so. It's what levels you up. It's what gives you sanity. It's what calms you. It's what makes you make it through the week, baby. For real. It does for me. What'd you say, baby? Yeah, if not, you'll break. Absolutely, baby. If not, you will break. And some people don't know what break means, baby. I'm talking about the ones in the hospital, high blood pressure. You got your bones are break. I mean, there's so many things that they have foam. That's why they got an entire $1 billion pharmaceutical industry. For when you start breaking down, because society has you on its hamster wheel. So when you start breaking down, here's the pharmaceutical industry right there to go ahead and prop you back up and drug you up where you don't feel nothing until you die. No, that's life the Most High provides for us, man. That's not life. It's not life. And it says, wealth may dwindle to less than nothing, but he who gathers little by little increases. Hope deferred, verse 12, I'm going to read the extra one. Verse 12, hope deferred sickness. Hope deferred sickens the heart, but desire realized is a tree of life. Oh. See, when you increase little by little, you don't fail like the failure of going for the big old thing and then falling and crashing to the ground. It says hope deferred, when you're hoping for something that is beyond your next step, beyond your means, when you are killing yourself and not being satisfied with the things that you are amassing, he says, then that sickens the heart and makes you even, how can I say, broken down spiritually. When your heart is broken, your spirit is contrite. The Most High is there for you. I see Malachi in the building, all praises. Yahil Malachi in the building, all praises. So hope deferred sickens the heart. That's not being satisfied with having the Most High, and that you got to work on your Sabbath, that you got to work through the feast days, that you can't and put time aside for you and for your Creator. You get nothing in the end. There's no enriching in that life. And then your heart starts to really break your entire spirit. And then you'll understand why. You're just depressed all the time and don't understand why. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15. Yeah, Proverbs is really working with me today on what I want to do. Proverbs 15, verse 27, it says, he who pursues ill-gotten gains makes trouble for his household. He who spawns gifts will live long. So even as we are taking these chances, we destroy our house. When we don't spend time with our family, we don't invest in the relationship between our children and our wives and your husbands. When you don't invest in that, your house starts to break. You may think that you're making money. You're getting a whole lot of money. I hear guys so many times say they get a girl and the girl wants them to not work, right? Saying we need some time. Not understanding that she has that if he doesn't work, there's some amenities that they don't have. The men always say that the women never want to relinquish the amenities, but still want time. And that's hard for them to be able to work out. So you'll find men that say, well, I'm just going to choose to work because the money is not going to be wishy-washy. The money is not going to want me home and then want me to work. It won't have these emotional ties. The money will satisfy me. The money will be there. The numbers, they say, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. So then they just get divorced. And then they realize half of my money is going to her now. Now I got child support. Now I got some alimony. Now I got a house that I'm not in, I'm paying for. When you forsake your rest and investing in your family and your home, when you get the riches, it falls. You lose it. Because now you got all this money, but you're spending it on court cases for your 18-year-old boy because he wilding because you was never there to be able to rear him up in morals and values. He followed in your footsteps. Got to get money, got to get it. So he went out there in the street, had to get it, got him a case. So now all your money, your house is put up so that you can keep your child out of jail. You never think about how these non-investing and going out for the money and never resting, how it tears down your home, how it breaks your house down. But society knows, the government knows. That's why they got institutions for your children. When you, after they finish breaking you down, you got the pharmacy. And if your child, they got the prison for him. If you don't do that, then he gets on the hamster wheel as well. And they got the pharmacy for him. Where is life in that? Where is the Most High in that? I'm imploring to you on this Sabbath to make it part of your life. This ain't no religion. You ain't got to go to no church. You ain't got to put up no money. You just got to put up you. Just you. Again, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 27. And it reads, he who pursues ill-gotten gains makes trouble for his household. He who spawns gifts live long. Verse 28, the heart of the righteous man rehearses his answer, but the mouth of the wicked blurts out evil things. When they used to tell you as a child, think before you speak. That's where they got that from. When they told you as a child, don't just say anything, that's where they got that from. Some people nowadays, because this society is so perverse, that they want you just to be an emotional wreck, that they celebrate people that just say the wildest, most outlandish things. There was an episode of South Park that Cartman was trying to be on these South Park. And he started turning to these wild, these children that just say all the wildest things, that don't think and cuss their mom out and all of that. It all comes from them even watching their parents not hold their child, gets it quicker. So now the child is out here wilding and can't control his mouth. Don't understand why they can't say what they want to say. Now they all of a sudden feel like you're stopping their freedom of speech. You are controlling them by asking them to watch their words. See how twisted the world and got? They said you got to take care of your family or the world would. Yeah, that's right, baby. That's right. I had a partner used to tell me when I was younger. He said, if you have a plan for a woman will plan you. My daddy used to say, if you don't have a plan for your life, then life will plan you. It's a very simple thing. If you're not in control of this process, the process will control you in all forms. And I'm saying the Most High is imploring you, saying, look, if you want to be in control of this, you want to really be in control of this, understand that there's a supernatural thing that happens. I can lift you up. I can increase you outside of what this world does. You do not have to break yourself and be a slave to this world. You understand my Sabbath. You understand my commandments. I give you life. Everlasting. The Most High does. Nobody else. Let's go to our last Proverbs. Proverbs 22, verse 1. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1, and it says, repute is preferable to great wealth. Grace is better than silver and gold. Ooh. Repute is preferable to great wealth. What is repute? Y'all know what repute means? Let's go to our etymology. Let's pull up that on that. Repute. Let me screen share that there so that they can see that on YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. On YouTube, we are under Hebrew State of Being on Instagram. We're also on the Hebrew State of Being on Facebook Indians. So repute, the etymology, not definition, but etymology, where it came from and what it was when it was originated. It says reputed, believe that something is so, to attribute, early, deem, repute meant to deem, consider, regard, and directly from Latin to count over, to reckon, to think over. So it says repute is preferable to great wealth. So thinking is greater than great wealth, than wealth. To consider. So when it says to hold your tongue, to not just speak, to hold your tongue before you speak, it is greater than wealth. To repute is preferable to great wealth. And repute means to attribute, to deem something, to consider something, to regard something, to reckon over. Yes. And then it says right after that, in the same verse of chapter 22 of Proverbs, grace is better than silver and gold. Mm-hmm. What is grace? I mean, we've gone through the sentence of grace. That's from the Most High, right? Grace. I wonder what they'll say grace is here. This should be interesting. Grace in the etymology says Most High. It starts off with God's unmerited favor. The Most High's unmerited, like you didn't earn it. Not like you earned when you're out here running trying to do it. So we're about to get cut off on Instagram Please check us out on YouTube under Hebrew State of Being, just as you were on Instagram, or you can check us out on Facebook because Instagram only gives us an hour. Thank y'all for tuning in. Micah, young Micah, and Moto in the building. Thank y'all for joining us on Instagram. So grace is the unmerited favor of the Most High. So it says grace is better than silver and gold. The unmerited love and help of the Most High is absolutely greater than gold and silver. All put together. All put together. Right? So let's go to Psalms 138. Psalms 138, verse 8. It reads, the Most High will settle accounts for me. The Most High, your steadfast love is eternal. Do not forsake the work of your hands. So here it's saying that the Most High settles all accounts. That's debts. I know you got a lot going on in your life. We all got a lot going on in our life. Debts that we owe, because that's the society lives off of debt. That's our gross national. You go to any finance class and they'll tell you that debt is good. So as this United States government lives off of our debt, right? It says here, the Most High will settle our accounts, for his steadfast love is eternal. Do not forsake the work of your hands. So we understand that love is his grace. So his steadfast grace, he will give us and keep lifting us, is eternal. And he's going to prosper our hands, even if we don't know how he's going to. Let's go to 2 Chronicles. We're almost out of here, guys. We're going to 2 Chronicles, chapter 15. Verse 27 of 2 Chronicles, chapter 15. I'm sorry, I didn't say verse 27. I meant 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 2. I don't know where I got the 27 from. Anyway, verse 2. And it reads, he came to Asa and said to him, listen to me, Asa, all of Yehuda and Benjamin. The Most High is with you as long as you are with him. If you turn to him, he will respond to you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. That is what we need to meditate on this Shabbat, on this Sabbath, when we, as the lesson is, grieve the reason for no rest. We must understand that we turn from the Most High and do other things, that he will turn from you. And you will continue to be on that hamster wheel. 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 2. Turn unto the Most High, and the Most High will turn unto you. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 14, and we're going to verse 4. And it reads, he abolished the shrines and the incense stands throughout the cities of Yehuda, and the kingdom was untroubled under him. He built fortified towns in Yehuda, since the land was untroubled, and he was not engaged in warfare during those years. For the Most High had granted him respite, meant rest and peace. So when we do the action of pulling out the world, and what he did in the action was to burn, to get rid of all the altars that they had for these other gods, and to come back into the Most High. The Most High made it where there was no fighting in the land of Judah. There was no fighting in his kingdom. And that he was able to get rest. That's the same in your life. And we just read, you turn from the Most High, he turns from you. You find turmoil in your life. When you enter into this world and start trying to be of this world, there is nothing but more turmoil that comes unto you. I see my brothers in the building. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Chawa. So as the Most High continues to tell us, man, do not forsake his rest. Do not forsake coming unto him. He is the one that increase your hands and your works. It is not of the world. The world will tell you that you could continue to work, and all they got for you is broken households. All they got for you is pharmacies when your body can no longer work for them, and you got to use all of their pharmaceuticals to keep your body going. They have taken your children. The world has taken them from you and either put them in jail or they are back on the hamster wheel, which we will call slavery. There is but only trusting in the Most High and getting that grace and mercy. Let's go on to our Psalms 146. That gives us the rest. The Most High provides the rest for us. The world will not. Psalms 46, verse 10. Take this day, take this Sabbath to understand this is the way that the world was until Catholicism came. Until the Roman Catholic Empire colonized the world, everyone saw the Sabbath was their seventh day. Psalms 46, verse 10, and it reads, he puts a stop to wars throughout the earth, breaking the bow, snapping the spear, consigning the wagons to the flames. Detest, realize that I am the Most High. I dominate the nations. I dominate the earth. The Most High of the army is with us, and the Most High of Yaakov is our haven. Knowing that the Most High is your haven, that he is a victor over this world. Yes, this world exists. Yes, this world is constantly at us. We have a choice to make. Unless you want to be the animals in the field, unless you want to be the beasts of the field with no choice. The Most High has grace and mercy for those that choose him. Those that choose the world get what the world has for it. And last I checked, the world is tumultuous. The world is hateful. And the world has no love. None whatsoever. Let's go to our last verse for the night, Nehemiah. And we're going to read Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 15 through 22. This is going to give us a true understanding of how we should walk in this time, right? Nehemiah. Stop that share. I did not put the chat up, my bad, this week on YouTube. So it should pop up in a second. Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 15 through 20. This says, at that time I saw men in Yehuda. Now, I must tell you, Nehemiah, as a prophet, he wasn't until we came back and was building the second temple with Ezra. He continued the work that Ezra did in building the wall. So when Nehemiah is speaking here, he's talking about us that have come back from Babylon, that have been, the Romans have come through and truly ransacked us. Cyrus came back and said we could rebuild the temple, right? Well, the Greeks have really gone through us. And Cyrus said that we could come back and rebuild the temple. So Nehemiah is now building the walls. And it says, at that time I saw men in Yehuda treading winepress on the Sabbath, and others bringing heaps of grain and loading them into asses, also wine, grape, figs, and all sorts of goods, and bringing them into Jerusalem on the Sabbath. I admonished them there and then for selling provisions. Tyrians who lived there brought fish and all sorts of wares and sold them on the Sabbath to the Judaites and in Jerusalem. Verse 17, I censored the nobles of Yehuda. This is going to be good at the end, man. Stay with me to the end of this because it's my favorite. All right. I censored the nobles of Yehuda, saying to them, what evil things is this that you are doing? Profaning the Sabbath day. with exclamation point. Verse 18. This is just what your ancestors did. And for it, the Most High brought all this misfortune on this city. And now you give cause for further wrath against Yasharallah by profaning the Sabbath. So Nehemiah is saying that all the captivity, everything we done been through, man, is because we profaned this Sabbath and didn't give rest and didn't do as the Most High asked. And y'all got the nerve, after going through all of that, to do the same thing. Verse 19. When shadows filled the gateway of Jerusalem at the approach of Sabbath, meaning shadows, meaning the sun is starting to set on Sabbath, I gave orders that the doors be closed and ordered them not to be opened until after the Sabbath. I stationed some of my servants at the gates so that no goods should enter on the Sabbath. Once or twice, the merchants and the vendors of all sorts of wares spent the night outside Jerusalem. Look, we had so much money, even though we had come back. Remember, when Cyrus made the decree for us to come back to the temple, he made it that everybody gave us money in the land to come back to our kingdom. So we had money. So the merchant, as today, we have money because we work so much. In North America, Black people, African Americans, whatever you want to call them, we are known as the greatest consumer market, that we spend the most money. That's why they are constantly at us on Friday and Saturday night to get out the Sabbath, as it is written here in Nehemiah, so that we can go to their clubs, so we can buy their stuff, so we can do all things, because we just got our check on Friday. You think the evil world will go ahead and give us our check on Wednesday? Give us our check on Wednesday. On Thursday, we start preparing for Sabbath. And on Friday, we're still working on Thursday. We're still working on Friday, but we prepare because we got our check on Wednesday. So then people would maybe go out on Wednesday, but we would have Thursday to prepare for Sabbath. And then Sabbath, Friday, we would be in reverence of the Most High. And then we will continue our work on that Sunday until we got into Wednesday when we got our next payday. Bro, the society could be so easily changed for the benefit of the Sabbath, but instead it goes against the Sabbath. It puts itself right up against the Sabbath to give you your money on Friday. You don't even have time to go and cash your check. I know our family is hard for us to cash our check, go, before we were doing all this other thing, but to go and then buy all your groceries on Sabbath at 5 o'clock. Get the kids, do all that, and get ready for sundown and cook. You got to damn near kill yourself. That's right, babe. You got to damn near kill yourself. Y'all think that's an accident? You think it's an accident that they put everything in society set up against so you can't do it? You think that just happened? That's just coincidence, Kyle. You tripping. You a conspiracy theorist. No. The Roman Catholic Empire was definitely dead set against being opposite of everything the Most High. So when we had the guy came on last week, Mr. DeNegro Unchained, trying to say that this book, the New Testament and Old Testament, was the same book. No, man. They changed it to Sunday, man. It's total opposite. So Nehemiah says on 19, because this is the best part, man. When shadows filled the gateways of Jerusalem at the approach of the Sabbath, I gave orders that the doors be closed and ordered them not to be opened until after the Sabbath. I stationed some of my servants at the gate so that no goods should enter on the Sabbath. Once or twice, the merchants and the vendors of all sorts and wares spent the night outside Jerusalem. Verse 21, but I warned them, saying, what do you mean by spending the night alongside the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands upon you. See, Nehemiah was understanding that at some point in time, to hold down the Most High's law, you have to put hands on somebody. I'm dead ass serious. Y'all don't understand that the Most High made you strong and made you powerful so that you could stand on him. That these people, this evil of this world, gets to a point where they have no respect for nothing, including you. Man, Nehemiah said, I'm telling these merchants, if the next time you show up on the night of Sabbath to spend the night here, get my people's mind off of the Most High, thinking about what they're going to spend so they can be the first ones at the gate, I'm going to put hands on them. From then on, they did not come on the Sabbath. That's right. Verse 22, I gave orders to the Levites to purify themselves and to come and guard the gates to preserve the sanctity of the Sabbath. You think that this society by accident is against the Sabbath, the way Nehemiah had to put the Levites up on walls, had to put them in on the night before the Sabbath when they're supposed to be getting ready to do the priestly things. And they're supposed to be getting ready for the people. Instead, the Levites are out there protecting the wall from these merchants. Merchants, man, not armies. Merchants. And they say, I'll walk you down if you interrupt my Sabbath. That's right, my brother Elon. You got to protect, and I should tell my wife all the time, we guard. It tells you in the fourth commandment in Exodus chapter 19, it tells you to guard the Sabbath. And that's what Nehemiah did. Guarding is in the form of going to war to protect it. You're not going to work in my house. You're not going to work around me. You're not going to work in my gates on my Sabbath. We're going to rest on this day. All praise to the Most High. That is our Shabbat lesson. Greed is the reason why you don't rest. And today I pray that I've given you scriptures that tells you the Most High says, I do grace unmerited, meaning that you ain't got to work for it. You've got to just be on his laws, and he will lift your works of your hands. That he will prosper you. Don't rely on the world and don't rely on you. The Most High says, all you got in this world is the works of your hands. Enjoy your Sabbath. Drink your wine. Love your wife. No sex on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. Hug your wife. You know what I'm saying? I was watching this thing right before the Sabbath came on about this tribe that was in South America. It's Suriname. Suriname is the name of the place. And they were the slaves that were Wayuda that were taken from Dahomey, from Benin, when it was called Benin, when it was Benjamin, right? And they were taken from there and brought to Africa as slaves. Now, the guy that has this channel is called Wode Maya, WODE space Maya, MAYA, young brother that's from Africa that travels all around trying to find the culture of Africa in all these places and introduce everyone to African culture. The young man has a great channel. Well, he doesn't know about Hebrew. And he doesn't know some of the things that he's come across, but I could see it clearly. So he goes to Suriname, which is Suriname is the name of the place. You can look it up. And the Portuguese brought them there during the slave trade, and they came from Benin. And what he was saying that because he comes from that area of Ghana now, which was Wayuda, this brother, and they believe in voodoo there, which we have voodoo here, right? We have which is a form of voodoo. Wherever we left from that area, Benin and Wayuda, we were the people. We came here, and those practices are still shown in our people. So the voodoo is he thinks that's part of the culture that these guys are believing in, and there's certain aspects of it he sees in this village. But they have the Hebraic practices, meaning that when the women are on their period, there's a house for them. They are separated, meaning that you have to bless yourself. And other one was that you couldn't have sex before you went to the temple. If you were a priest or if you were going to do the work for the Most High, you had to be cleansed. So you could not have sex 24 hours before going to the temple or doing temple works. All these are Hebraic tenets of our scripture, right? Which is not African. So the guy didn't know that. He was like, wow, I never seen that before. That's a little bit different than what we do in voodoo, because it is two different belief systems, but we have amalgamated ourselves in every culture that we went to. It is time for us to come back to our culture and do what we do as the Most High has asked us to do. And we're starting with the Sabbath. We're starting with his holy days. We're starting with understanding the importance of it. So all praise to the Most High. Check out that on Tsunami. He even did a wedding that he went to, and all the women got fringes. Women got fringes on. I mean, it is amazing to see But when people don't know, because they don't have the book and they don't know what practices we did, they don't recognize them in these other cultures. But we know the transatlantic slave trade. We know the prophecies of the Most High. We know what we did before we were dispersed. And we see it in our pockets of our people. And all praise to the Most High. Come back into our ways, into the Torah, into the Tanakh. Not to religion, but to the way. All praise unto the Most High. We will see you guys on Monday. Be shalom.